Welcome, welcome, welcome to the She Show. My name is Helena Das, and I am so excited to be back on the Medicine of the Horse movement, if you will, as the founder and host of the Medicine of the Horse online summit that I birthed a couple of years ago. And I have felt the call, the nudge recently from Spirit to really expand and go deeper on this conversation of the medicine of the horse, and specifically around how the medicine of the horse actually empowers the sacred feminine. And for all the women who love horses and work with horses and have horses or drawn to their spirit, really how we can more consciously, partner together to help each other heal and transform and elevate our lives. And I want to take a moment, in case you are new to my world, to let you know that I have gone from renegade vet for over 2 decades, to horse shaman, to these days I'm calling myself a shepreneur, and she is an acronym I coined that stands for Sacred Horse Energy. So whether it is the she for the She Show or being a shepreneur, I'm really on a mission and very deeply devoted and passionate, again, around empowering the sacred feminine with the medicine of the horse. And what does that mean? I know that can seem a bit vague, and to just further clarify that, really, it has to do with learning from their wisdom, their energy, working with their energy. I actually channel their energy. I work with the collective spirit of the horse called the Wind Horse Herd, who at one time lovingly called me a wind horse woman. And I am really um, passionate about partnering with them on a multidimensional metaphysical level to help the humans, the women especially, again, who I feel just we have a very special bond with horses in a different way than men do. And this is no offense to any um, uh, conscious horsemen out there, but I definitely feel like there's this vibrational resonance of really where we're traveling, we're rising together and learning that we have a right, a divine birthright to actually have a voice and have a choice, and to really reclaim our sovereignty, our freedom, our wholeness, and our personal power. And so this piece, for me, I feel mirrors so well in the work that I do with mostly women, again, where we are bringing in the wisdom and the energy and the spirit of the horse that I channel, and in the horse codes and the source codes that are helping with the healing process on a deep energetic and soul level. So with that being said, again, I was inspired to just open up this conversation and connect with more women who are really, in the simplest, way or state, they love horses, right? And they work with them, they partner with them, maybe they communicate with them, maybe they are facilitators or trainers or trimmers or healers or guides, whatever the case may be, but they really have this special bond and connection. And so this series, this conversation, is to really honor them and honor horse, and just deepen the conversation of our sacred love for these incredible animals, who I will say have been my sacred medicine on my Shiro's journey, both in healing from physical issues, chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, at one time diagnosed with chronic Lyme's and early onset Addison's, as well as healing from past sexual trauma, as someone who is part of the Me Too movement. And so I share all this because I want to really honor the depth and the breadth, um, and the profound magic and healing that can happen when we are playing in the quantum field and also bringing in horse and what I like to call the horse codes and the source codes into this place. So, um, just to wrap this up, I want to thank you so much for finding your way here. I'm going to invite you to please share the love to any horsey soul sisters or like-minded souls. And I truly hope that you enjoy and are enriched with this series and this conversation. And so I will see you on the inside. Ciao for now. Namaste. All right, it looks like we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the She Show, where we are all about really connecting with women who love horses and who are working with them and partnering with them and really in a more conscious way to help the way that I like to say, bring heaven to earth. And I am really, really grateful today to be bringing a beautiful and talented and gifted guest to this podcast series. And it's the beautiful, and I meant to ask you the correct pronunciation, so I hope I don't mess it up. It's Kate Solisti. Did I say that correctly?
It's just Solisti. It's a instead of an I.
Solisti. Solisti. Okay, I meant to ask you that before. My apologies. And so before we dive into our very exciting topic around the energetics of horse and their desire to help humans find their way back home, which I absolutely like near and dear to my heart, topic, I want to take a moment to read Kate's bio and let you know a little bit more about her in case you are new. So Kate is president of Kinship Enterprises and is dedicated to giving animals a say in their care and in our world. She is a leader in the field of interspecies communication, having translated animals' thoughts, feelings, and needs to caring humans for 30 years. Kate has authored 6 books, published in 9 languages, and co-edited a 7th with author and playwright Michael Tobias. She is an inspiring teacher and speaker featured nationally and internationally on the stage, radio, and television. She's a recognized expert in dog and cat nutrition, flower essence therapy, and energy healing, addressing the whole animal, body, mind, and spirit. Right up alignment here. Kate's passion is giving voice to all members of the animal kingdom so that they can participate with human beings in improving the well-being of all species and the planet. To that end, she hosts a membership community, the Harmony Pack, where people passionate about the non-human beings on Earth are finding their healing and purpose. This sounds so amazing, Kate, guided by the animals while supporting one another through these challenging times. She lives with her husband, Marcus, and I'm not going to try to say his last name,
That's
and
okay.
fabulous felines in Vermont. And you can find her at katesolisti.com. That is spelled KATESOLISTI.com. And on a personal note, I just wanted to share how I discovered Kate. It is through this book, Conversations with Horse, that I adore and actually came with me with my dream horse come true, story for another time. But it was a gift from his previous guardian. She gave me a few things when he came to me, and this was one of the things she gave me. So it has a very special, meaning to me. And I did want to mention, I absolutely, when I just opened this book for the first time, I got chills when I read this, and I felt called to share it as a way to open into our conversation today. And that is to abandon oneself in the dance with a horse is to touch the infinite. And I get chills reading it again now. And Kate, I just want to say thank you so much for all the incredible work you've been doing with the animals, with the horses on the planet. And I'm just so honored to have you here today to share space with me and to help enlighten and educate those lives that we're meant to touch with this series. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Helena, it's beautiful to be with you, and I love your work with horses and women. And your story is an extraordinary one. Your journey from being a veterinarian to having an epiphany and so many spiritual, different ways your path went. And
That's a
and
good description.
yeah,
All
yeah.
over the place.
That's right. And that I think is part of the beauty of when you follow your intuition and you listen to its guidance, it's never a straight line, right? It's all over the place. But what's beautiful about that, I think, is that if you trust it, it will never lead you astray. It may not make sense to your mind where it seems to be leading you, but if you stay the course and you keep trusting, when you come around to whatever the completion of that is, you go, oh my gosh, I get it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Well, thank you for acknowledging that. And yeah, I'd love to start out our conversation around what you are most proud of in your work with the horses and or, I know you are animals, right? For all with all of them. All the four-leggeds and feathered, I'm maybe guessing too.
All of them. It's true. I have had the honor of working with animals, both what we refer to as domestic, those animals that we spend most time with, but also wild ones. And that it's all a great joy and a very, very much my mission. Because as a child, I was very open, as many children are, but then nobody believed me, of course, right? And I could also feel into what they were thinking and feeling, the humans. And so I could feel them going, okay, this is weird. What is she talking about? Is she making that up? It's her imagination. And of course, when you're little, like two, you kind of go, uh-oh. And I perceived it as I had a door open and everyone around me had their doors closed much.
Mm.
So I wasn't sure what to do with it, but I had a beloved, my dad gave me this kitten who became my first love and first teacher. He was an orange tabby and his name was Dusty. And Dusty was just a miracle for me. He was my guide, he was my teacher, and he was just everything to me. And so we spent a lot of time together, and he would help introduce me to the flowers in the garden and the turtles walking through and the birds. And we'd have a lot of deep conversations, more so soul to soul than little girl to cat, because we were meeting on that energetic soul level, and which
Mm.
for me seemed really normal, at least with him. And then I went to school, kindergarten and first grade. And when I was in first grade, he told me he was very proud of me, and he was glad that I was being with people now. And and he loved me very much, but our work together was done. And I didn't really know what that meant. I was 6, 7. And long story short, he went out and got hit by a car. It
Mm.
devastated me, just devastated me. So I shut down my abilities, basically, is the shorter part of that. So by the time I was 8, they were shut down. Even though I could not forget, I pushed away all the experiences and conversations I had with other animals, but I couldn't forget that he and I had had some very profound experiences together, but I didn't talk about it. And it wasn't until my 20s when I went to therapy for, various stuff, stuff with your parents, that I discovered an entire part of me had been put aside. And that was the feminine intuitive part of me. My
Mm.
parents wanted all boys. I was the first of girls. I was the sensitive one. And so I had to sort of steel myself, as so many women do, to fit in, to be acceptable, to get good grades, be a good athlete, blah, 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 right?
All the things.
All those things, as going through all that academia and veterinary, wow, all that left brain stuff. But during therapy, I had to reintegrate this part of me. And it was like the feminine girl child had been deeply banished. So I had to love and nurture that inner child and bring her back home. And in the process, I started to receive again. And my receiving isn't hearing. I don't hear voices. It's not clairaudience, but it is clairvoyance, meaning I see things, I see visuals. It is clairsentience, meaning I just know stuff. And telepathy, which is that thought to thought communication. And also feeling, I can feel things, but I don't feel the pain in my body. I just know where it is. So that's really helpful when you're working with an animal who is having pain and you want to help their human know where the pain is and what kind of pain it is, so that you can support the human in communicating with the vet and then get those things checked out and all that good stuff. So at that point, I really started to open to receive, and I was old enough and strong enough in myself to know I wasn't crazy. But this was back in the 1980s when there wasn't a lot of information out there about this work or even a lot of psychic work. And now, of course, the concept of communicating with animals is so huge that even the scientists, the scientific community, is trying to use AI to help them communicate with animals, which is fraught with ethics. And just as a little point of this, which is important, is that I am part of a steering committee. This is one of my passions right now. We call ourselves IPACA, which stands for the International Professional Animal Communicator Association. And we've come together from all over the world, communicators who have at least 10 years of experience. And we're creating an ethics and standards statement and our mission and vision. We are in the process of putting this all together on a website so that we can really create the standards going forward for people who are opening to receive and communicate, especially those who wish to become professionals. And that is really in service to the animals. That gets us back to the importance of serving the animals as well as their humans. So that is where things are now, because also with this move into AI that the scientists are interested in pursuing, there, as I said, it would be a lovely opportunity to collaborate with them. Here we are, animal communicators have been doing this for decades, as well as indigenous people who have been doing this for thousands of years. And there needs to be a coming together and of the scientific community, the animal communicators, the indigenous people, in a way that honors our family, that we are all family here with the animals. It's not about a computer. It's about a heart and mind, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're working.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I it's just that thought even blows me away around the AI. I can't even believe they're going there. And I'm so glad that you're taking a stand. And I really love and want to go back and highlight, if I may, what you shared about opening to receive and the feminine intuition and our intuitive gifts and abilities, because I know that one of the things I've seen with the women I've worked with is that, opening up to, give ourselves, right, that feeling safe to have a voice and have a choice, right? And the same for the animals, right? And so I'd love to ask you if some women are listening now to this interview, and perhaps they have felt shut down in that area, and maybe they're opening up to their gifts now, and perhaps wanting to do that, explore that, expand that, deepen that with the animals. What kind of advice might you have for them?
Well, I think most of the women who are going to be listening to this, and hopefully some men as well, is that we all come together with a great love of animals and a love of the natural world. And that part of us that loves animals and loves the natural world is that what we might call our true heart-centered selves. And, the civilized world that we live in, I'll call it that, I mean, um, has really insisted that we put that all aside. And so it's been tough, just like I mentioned when I was a child, when you start to tell your parents, oh, the cat told me such and such, or my horse needs whatever. And they go, well, how did you know that? Well, she told me. That's cute for a while, but then they get concerned because it's just not acceptable. And however, if we think about it, all creativity, everything that is beautiful and creative from music and art and everything we do that is this organic thing about being human involves our heart and our intuition. And
Mhm.
so, to say all that, we can't do
Oops.
to say,
I
well, then
think,
you can't paint a beautiful thing or you can't a piece of music, right? And
yeah.
that's just not true. So the more we encourage people to own their gifts and their abilities, the more they will be whole. And so to listen, the first step is to learn to be quiet, right? And meditation is of course a part of that, but there's ways of meditating that can also distract you from actually tuning in
Mm,
to your own ability to receive,
yeah.
right? If we're doing a lot of chanting and stuff, are we actually receiving, or is that something we're doing for the planet, which is beautiful, and for humanity and for everything? Or are we being quiet and allowing things to come to us? That's where the communication is all about receiving. It's not doing, it's about being. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, no, that really helps, and thank you for going there. Yeah, and it's interesting what you were talking about with the chanting, and something that was just coming to me is my personal experience, because for years I couldn't like shut my brain off kind of thing, like actually doing things like the chanting and the mantras and breath work got it was like one step that finally got to me a place where I could get it to be quiet enough so that when you know what I mean? Then afterwards, like there's more quiet or peace, and then I could receive. But that may not be everyone's path, but I just like I hear what you're saying, and I'm just wondering if that there's like a place to kind of allow that to kind of drown out the noise, and
Mhm.
then after the dust settles, then allow the information to come in or whatever. But yeah.
Absolutely. It's a great step
Mhm.
to learn to focus on the mantra or the chanting is allowing your body to just stay focused on that, or just focusing on the candle.
Mhm.
But one of the most beautiful things is you can be in that space just grooming your horse, just standing
Mhm.
with your horse and brushing her,
Yeah.
right? Just that and connecting and feeling. Here we are we two separate beings? Are we just two energy fields interweaving here? And
Mhm.
so there's a way of being with animals, a cat on your lap purring, walking and letting your dog take you on the walk, and enjoying the sense, okay, what is he smelling now? What is he interested in? Where you
Mhm.
get out of your mind and
Yeah.
you connect with that being in there. Perhaps they are doing something, but
Mhm.
perhaps they're just more being. As
Yeah. Yeah. Oops, you
as I
cut it.
said, the horse is standing there, maybe he's munching.
Mhm.
And then and maybe nothing is happening at all, and he's just standing there while you're brushing and grooming. And if you can just be with the brush stroke and be with his body and feel into those beautiful muscles and that coat and this beautiful smell of him, right? Then there's a merging that's taking place. And then you really are open to receive his thoughts or his feelings in a way that if you're thinking about other stuff while you're brushing him, or whatever, thinking
Yeah.
about what you guys are going to do next, you're going to miss it. Is
Right,
that
right. Yeah, no, that helps, and I think that's really powerful. So I love that you brought that in as example. So I also would love to you shared a little story with me the other day, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, around that energy of like merging, right? Merging with your horse as one, which for me, I know the first time I experienced it with my first horse years ago was just, magic. I mean, I can't even find words for it. And so I'd love if you felt called to maybe share a little bit of that and how it relates to the energetics piece of
Mhm.
how they are how the horses are designed to help us, find our way back home, as you said. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when I was about 14, I was visiting my cousin in the beautiful country of New Jersey. New Jersey actually has some beautiful countryside. And she had basically taught me to ride on this wonderful quarter horse named Coke because he was the color of Coca-Cola. And he was no beauty. She had a gorgeous bay thoroughbred named Bracken who, gorgeous black mane and tail and elegant, oh, he's just so gorgeous. And then there was Coke. So, but Coke was steady and wonderful. And he had been a Western quarter horse. He had a brand on him, but he was then trained to do English. We were riding English. So he had that gentle bit, just a simple snaffle, which for him was kind of a joke. I mean, his mouth was so unfortunately hardened, but in his case, it made it so that the bit was just like whatever. But I loved him dearly because he was just so sweet and constant. So we had gone, we had ridden to a pool of a friend of theirs, and my aunt said to my cousin, can you girls find your way home? And we said, sure. But my cousin took off on her thoroughbred. And I'm going, wait, because, Coke was just kind of, moving along. He was maybe trotting a little bit, she did boom. And I'm like, okay, I have no idea where I am. And something in me, because at that point I hadn't fully regained my ability to connect, just turned to him and I said, okay, buddy, I need you to find a way home. I, can you take us home? And something shifted. He, he just perked up, and all of a sudden, as he was moving, I felt myself just becoming one with him because I had surrendered. I had given him full charge. Can you take us home? Because I have no idea. So I'd surrendered my ego, right? And said that. And so he's like, I've got this. And this magical thing happened. We were moving pretty quickly, but I didn't fall off. I stayed on. And all of a sudden we were back at the barn. It was like time had completely disappeared and we had become one being. And for him, he was like, okay, we're home. Good. When can I eat? And I was like, oh my gosh. And my aunt came running out. What are you? And my cousin got in trouble because she had been back a while, I guess. And I was mesmerized that by this beautiful being who took me to this place of magic connection. And I never forgot it.
That's so beautiful. I really love that. And quite literally, he was helping you find your way home, right?
Yes, yes. And you asked about what when I say how do horses help us find our way home? What I'm really referring to is what the three beings, horses, dogs, and cats, the story that was given to me, this I didn't share with you the other day, but this is a story that I received from the animals. And it's fascinating because years later, decades later, I heard someone tell the story that as it was related by a Native American elder, and I don't remember what tribe, but it was basically the same story. And the story was this, that back in the beginning, we all the beings on earth who were just different aspects of the divine, sat around the campfire sharing stories of their experiences. From
Mm.
the having that beautiful relationship and dancing with the flowers and the hive and creating honey and pollination, to the dolphins breathing air in the water and moving so fast, and the elephants communicating through their feet into the earth. And humans sat there and thought, okay, well, we don't swim that great and we can't communicate with our feet. Okay, what do we have to offer? oh, we have a brain. We have this big brain. What can we do with the brain? And we can bring that back and share what we've learned at the council fire. Well, we did that for a while and all the animals listened and oohed and awed as we developed this brain of ours. But sadly, as time went by, we got very involved in this and we decided well, we didn't need to come back to the council fire. You know, we could go our own way. We're so smart. We've got this. And the animals had to watch us just slip away. But
Mm.
three species looked at us and said, we need to help them. We need to show them the way back home. And those three species were the dog, the cat, and the horse. And they decided to completely link their lives with ours so that they could find us, so they could guide us through love, through their very different ways of expressing love, guide us back to source, to our unity with all life. And that's guiding us back home.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. I got chills with that story, and I kind of knew what you meant. I was making a little joke based on the
Oh, yes,
story.
I know.
I
That was
might,
great.
but I
Two
love.
ways home.
I'm so glad that you shared that story, and yeah, I can totally, I just resonate with everything that you're sharing. I often like to say that horses ground my soul, just by being in their presence. That energy of connecting with all that is basically. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's so powerful. Let's see. I am looking at what other question I want to ask you. I'm looking at my notes here and I'm also feeling into our conversation. I would love to hear maybe um, in terms of things that you might be up to right now as it relates to, the energetics, whether it's horse or small animal, or, just in terms of your soul's work, really, like what is most alive for you right now? And, what are you excited about?
That's a lovely question.
Mhm.
What I am really excited about is that as you mentioned in my bio, I have this membership community called Back, but it has evolved over time. And what it really is it is a place where, and it's women come together and are actually guided by what I call the animal councils. So, for example, this month, August, we're working with the Council of Giraffes. Now, what does that mean? It means that giraffes, the council is what I refer to as the higher group mind of that species. Okay. So, giraffes are teaching us about how they perceive the world, both physically and energetically, and how we can bring those gifts and understanding into our own lives for our own personal healing and growth. So it is literally the animals coaching us to be better versions of ourselves. It's, as you know, as a life coach, what we're here to do, what coaches are here to do is to help people blossom and become who they truly are meant to be and find their passion and live their full passionate lives. Well, what's different about the Harmony Pack is it's the animals are doing the coaching, the guiding. And I'm so excited because I have seen members of the pack grow and change, get out of crappy jobs, out of awful relationships, move into their healing work, stop being afraid of claiming who they truly are. And then they come together to share and grow together. So that I love that because for me, I feel I'm here serving the animals in what they want us to. I mean, all of us came at this moment in history because this is the moment where we either come back to our family, meaning all life on earth, and begin to walk in balance once again, or we continue to, make such a mess that Gaia, our Mother Earth, says, okay, this species has got to go, right? This is the choice point, right? And the animals are so loving and so compassionate for us humans. Really, we're really the students, right? We're the ones that have to learn this or remember. It's really remembering. But if we are willing to open our hearts and heal our trauma, our pain, our struggles, and blossom into who we are, we can help all the species on the planet by really being in our true, passionate, intuitive, heart-guided selves. Doesn't mean we get rid of the brain. We keep our mind working, but we blend, we use the heart to guide the mind. If we do that, we cannot not be in connection, right? Then we know that we aren't different as humans, for starters, that we're all one human family. And then we are all part of life, all part of the animals, the plants, the trees, the insects, the mycelium, all of it. We're all this, it's all energy, it's all us, we're all them.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. For some reason, I had a flash of like the book, which I never fully completely finished reading, but the women who run with wolves. Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, S.H.E,
Yep.
right? When you said that. But yeah, no, I really love that. And yeah, that connection piece, I something that was coming through as you were talking was the thought of how for me, like growing up, I didn't feel safe with most humans, and that's
Mhm.
where my connection with the animals developed, as that safe place and safe haven. And so I really love that you're bringing that in, because I think that they can obviously, be such medicine for our soul and wisdom and teacher and guides and so many levels. And so I really love what you're up to. That sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. Yeah. So, is there anything else that you feel like you would, add that maybe we didn't touch on as it relates to, the energetics of the horse, or anything else that you want to share before we kind of, wrap things up?
Well, I had the amazing opportunity to work with a mentor who lived in France. She was South African by birth, and she was creating a healing modality for animals. And I was there to help tap into what the animals wanted, as opposed to humans deciding what animals needed. And we developed this beautiful work. And there's very few people that practice it, because she didn't have time to train a lot of people in it before she passed. But in
Mm,
that process, I really learned a tremendous amount about the energetics of the horse and how we connect to the horse through these special energy centers that the horses have, that they can open to connect with us.
mm,
And so that's a very special relationship that we have. And we can connect our heart center, our heart chakra, when we sit on a horse, when we're riding. We can connect our heart through into the center of the horse, where there's another energy center. It's not a chakra, it's an energy center. But then we can connect our crown chakra with their crown. So we create this link, mind to mind, but we create this heart link into their bodies. And that, if you look at it, it's like if you were a merry-go-round horse, right? You were sitting on the merry-go-round horse, but the pole was going through you into them, but it was all radiating. The energy was then radiating out through their spine and their skeleton down into their hooves into the earth, so that we are grounded. You have the wonderful image of the centaur, right? The human, it's a half human, half horse. But this is a blending of the best of the human mind connecting to the crown of the horse, and the human heart connecting to that energy anchor in the horse that holds us and carries us. But it's all about surrender. We can't do this out of a place of dominance and control. It has to be surrendering to love and trust. And that's when they can give so much back to us. That's that magical experience we were talking about earlier, that you had with your first horse and I had with Code. And once you've had that, it's life changing, right, Helena? It
yes.
and then it became something that never went away for you, even though you pursued your vet practice and other things. That magical experience never left you, and it didn't leave me. And I think it was a very key piece to how I restored my ability to communicate after closing it down, is that feeling, because that was not a thought, that was a deep soul connection besides my adored cat, but this, both a physical and non-physical experience with the horse that is so powerful. So I encourage all of your readers or listeners to feel what it's like to really merge in and do it. It doesn't have to happen all of a sudden. It can happen in pieces where, again, you're just brushing, you're grooming, you're being with your horse. You're not asking your horse to do anything. And typically we don't ask, we just do, right? Let's put on the saddle, let's put, tighten the girth, let's, open your mouth, all that, instead of say, hey, buddy, how are you doing today? What's your day like? Let's just hang.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
just, let's just be together.
that is so beautiful, and I was practically jumping out of my skin when you were sharing that, because it really, the way that you described the energetics, um, I have to say, like, often I do these, and I don't think I've shared this with you, but I have done many like meditations or activation transmissions. Sometimes I don't know what to call them. And
Right.
my best ones have been the ones that came through when I was on my horse's back. And the way that I ride, like, the way you're sharing this is so in alignment with my work and my practices and values and all the things. I mean, I had a joke at one point long ago that I was riding bareback, bitless, barefoot, and braless. No, anyway, that was a joke. But anyway, I do something that I call Wu Wei riding, and the art of Wu Wei loosely translates from Chinese medicine to the art of doing nothing. And my favorite way to meditate and my medicine is to sit on my horse's back with, not, they're grazing, I'm taking it all in, and I've recorded like many meditations on my phone from that place. And when I go back and listen, like, it's just magic. And that amplification that I often talk about in my trainings, the amplification of them grounding us into the earth, for me, as above, so below, is opening up the source codes, connecting us with the infinite source intelligence and all of that. And so I call them horse codes and source codes, but it's like everything that you shared, I feel like I haven't really known how to put into words, but I got chills, and it helps kind of almost like the spiritual technology explain what I couldn't put into words, what I was experiencing, if that makes sense.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
so
that's why I
glad.
was like, oh my God, that's like, because I have talked about it in some of my trainings and stuff, but I didn't know how to articulate it. And what you just did, what for me, so thank you, was actually explain the spiritual technology, if you will, of what I felt like I was experiencing, but didn't know how to put into words. So anyway, thank you.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that's helpful to you. Lovely.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. Oh, what a wonderful way to kind of really wrap all this up. I am so delighted and grateful again to have you here with me today. And we shared, I think, your website at the beginning. Are there any other ways people can find you that you might want to mention besides your website? Is that the best place for them to
Mhm.
find you?
That's the place. Yep, because everything is there. There's the information on the Harmony Pack. I finally put up a class that I've been wanting to offer. So I have a class on Bach flowers for animals, how to put the flowers together for your own animals. I'm very excited. I just got that up there. I'm a one-woman show. So,
Yay. I get it.
but that's it. Everything's at katesolisti.com.
Oh, so exciting, so exciting. So I hope that if you're listening to this, that you have received as much value and joy and love and exchange as I have. And I just want to say thank you, Kate, so much for being with us here today and sharing your gifts and your wisdom and your time and your energy, your precious time and energy with us. And yeah, I am going to just, I guess we'll wrap it up here unless you have any final thoughts. I just want to say thank you again so much for being with me.
Well, thank you. Yes, there's so much we could talk about,
We'll have to have a
so
part two. Yeah.
we could do a part two. I would love that because there's so many stories I have about working with people and their horses and the magic that takes place when I can give a voice, right, as an animal
Yeah.
communicator, right, to what the horse is thinking and feeling that helps deepen that connection and help solve problems. But I just love this with you and just sharing all that we shared. And thank you for the opportunity. And I'm grateful for all your listeners who love horses and who are growing and healing their relationship with animals and nature. That's just beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. We'll definitely continue the conversation. And so until next time, thank you for joining us today. Please share the love. If you receive value, tell all your friends. And until next time, ciao for now. Namaste.